Now this is the new diagram of active failover. I told you in the beginning only, active failover can be done with the help of context. We have already done the lab for security context where we were having HR and IT, that is context 1 and context 2. I told you if you have 10 contexts, then you can divide your contexts into equally between two ASA, or you can, whatever your choice. You want 6 there, 4 here, or you want 3 there, 7 here, it's your choice. So you can divide your context between two ASA, so that active ASA means ASA 1 is going to take care of one group, ASA 2 is going to take care of second group, because in active standby you saw only one ASA is working at a time. Until unless ASA 1, that is primary or active ASA, goes down, the second ASA will never come up or take the position. We want both the ASAs to work. We want both the ASAs to work simultaneously, and for that reason we are going to do active. For doing active, you need to check the license. So yes, we have active license here. Show version. Yes, we have active license. Show mode. You can see it's in single mode. Show mode. It's in single mode. So last time we did some configuration on ASA 1 and ASA 2. That configuration is gone. Good. Otherwise, if you keep that configuration, then multiple mode will always take that configuration and start loading the existing context. But we lost it because I think I changed the box. So let's do this. We can save this configuration of failover by giving a command shows copy startup config to flash. Show flash. You can see there's a file being copied here. Okay. Now we can go here and say mode multiple. You can see there's an old running config being saved in the flash memory. Let him save. Let's come back to the diagram. I'm forwarding you this image so that you can also keep in front of you. I gave you the diagram. Check the diagram. One ASA is carrying two contexts in multiple mode, context 1 and context 2. Second firewall also carries the same context, but CTX1 is active on ASA1 and CTX2 is active on ASA2. That means ASA1 is an active firewall for context 1, or you can say group 1. Context 1 is the part or member of group 1. Context 1 is member of group 1, and ASA1 is active for group 1. ASA2 is active for group 2, and context 2 is member of group 2. So whenever the traffic of context 1, that is HR context, comes to go, like whenever the traffic comes to ASA, it will be served by ASA1. Whenever the traffic of context 2 comes to ASA2, he will serve for context 2. For context 1, ASA2 will be secondary, or you can say backup. And for context 1, ASA2 will be backup. For context 2, ASA1 will be backup, vice versa. Just pay attention on the IP addressing. I have taken 20111 as the IP for context 1 and 20112 as the IP for context 1 standby ASA. So context 1 will have two IP address for outside, one for active router, one for standby. Context 2 will again have the same subnet IP, because I told you now all are going to the same router. To go on internet. So 1 and 2 is for context 1, and 3 and 4 for context 2, and then finally 5 is for router. You know what is there in front of this. There are two links. Okay. There are two links. One is E6 and one is E7. E6 is for FO and E7 is for stateful. E6 and E7. Then here you also have DMZ. You know what is DMZ address? 10.1.1.1 and 10.2.2.1, or you can keep 10.1.30 and 10.1.40. I will edit this and send it to you. Clear? All of you? So there are how many VLANs now? 10, 20, 30 and 40. There is no VLAN for outside. There is no VLAN for outside. Show mode, show run. So by mistake, all the failure commands also he took. No problem. We'll start this ASA once again. Meanwhile, we'll make entry on the notepad. I told you, you have now two contexts. One is context 1. So context 1, but before that, you need to go on respective switch. Like I go to LAN switch. Here you have to say config T, VLAN 10, name CTX1, VLAN 20, name CTX2. Then DMZ switch, VLAN 30, name CTX1, and VLAN 40, name CTX2. Actually, this is CTX1 LAN. This is CTX2 LAN. This is CTX2 1 DMZ. This is CTX2 DMZ. You need to create trunk. So the command is switch port trunk encapsulation dot 1q switch port mode trunk. Same trunk configuration you have to create here also. You need to create switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 10, 20, one of the port which is facing LAN PC, we need to add one more node R4. R6. So R4 and R6. This is my server that belongs to context 2. What is the IP address of this? 30.2. 40.2. .2 and 40.2. CTX1 LAN PC, CTX2 LAN PC, 20.2, sorry, 20.10, 10.10, 20.10. And this will be again 30.10 and 40.10. 30.10, 40.10, 10.10. So you have context 1 LAN PC, you have context 2 LAN PC, you have context 1 server, you have context 2 server. I hope this is clear. Let's make this also E 0 by 0. I already gave you diagram. I will correct this and give it to you once again. No worry. I will send you. So 3, 4, 5, and 6. 10.10, 20.10, 30.10, 40.10. This is LAN PC, this is LAN PC, this is server. This has to be trunk between the switches. Already we need to do this configuration. LAN switch interface E0 by 1 belongs to VLAN 10. E0 by 3 belongs to VLAN 20. Just see. R9. E0 by 1, E0 by 3. E0 by 0 and E0 by 2 both has to be trunk. E0 by 0 and E0 by 2 has to be trunk. and 40. E0 by 2 belongs to 30. E0 by 3 belongs to 40. Just see here. This belongs to 30 and this belongs to 40. So VLAN 30 and VLAN 40. VLAN 10, VLAN 20. Clear? VLAN 30, VLAN 40. Range E0 by 0, E0 by 1. Both has to be trunk. This two interface, trunk. This two interface, trunk. Switch configuration is done. Now you have to go in ASA1. What is the first command? MAC address auto. I told you, you have to give this command. Then interface E0, no shut. Or you can take 3 and 4 also. But already we connected 6 and 7. So E0, E1, E2, E6 and E7 no shut. Then interface E1.10, VLAN ID 10. You can give description. CTX1 LAN. Interface E1.20, VLAN 20, description. CTX2 LAN. Interface E2.30, VLAN 30, description. CTX1 DMZ. Interface E2.40, always first give VLAN information. 40, CTX2 DMZ. This configuration has to be made very carefully, because if you don't do the configuration properly, you will be in loop. You will mess up everything. So you have to keep in front of you the diagram. See that you see that VLAN 10. Okay, I'm going to give E1.10 because it belongs to VLAN 10. CTX1 LAN, CTX2 LAN, CTX1 DMZ, CTX2 DMZ2. Then what? Context. CTX1. Okay. Let's see what is the status of our firewalls. Good. See, I removed the configuration from this guy, but when I remove the configuration, I loses the admin context also. That is not good.
That is a default behavior of ASA, no?
Yeah, but I erased it, na configuration here.
Hmm.
Yeah, I erased it and reloaded. So I lost this configuration. So no, simple. I can just copy. I just wanted to show you that in case if you erase the configuration by chance, see when you do single mode and again you do multiple, no, again it will create. Got it? See, first this ASA box was in single mode. So when I converted it into multiple, he created admin. That is the default behavior. Got it? But then I came to multiple mode and I erased the configuration. So I lost admin context. So now how I will bring? Simple. First method, I again make it single and again make it multiple. So again I will get admin. What is the process? Again make it single and again make it multiple. Then I will get it admin. Or simple, I go and manually create. That also I can do. Because when he created by default, I deleted. So it is my task now. I have to create. Okay? Okay, it's okay. He's telling some. So when I say show run, you can see all the interfaces are in shutdown mode by default. And already admin context is there with 0, 1, 2. Okay. Why it took only 3 interfaces? Because earlier configuration was done for only 3 interfaces. So he took, okay. Initially, he should carry what 6 and 7 also, because they are also part of this thing. Allocate interface E6 and E7. So show run context 0, 1, 2, 6 and 7. We erase this fellow also. We stop him. We don't want this guy to come up now. Let him keep quiet. We will do configuration here also same. We'll do everything on ASA1. We will not do anything on ASA2. So let him shut down only. We'll bring it up later on. Show mode, multiple. Show flash, admin CFG is already there. Old config is already there. Let's do the switch task first. This is a LAN switch. When I say show VLAN, nothing is there. So I go here and say VLAN 10 name CTX1, VLAN 20 name CTX2. Okay. So when I say show VLAN, you can see. Okay. I can do like that also. I can make it VTP mode server VTP domain Octa like that. VTP version 2. So when I say show VTP status, I can see 1 and 3, 2 and then Octa. But there should be some communication. DMZ switch. VTP mode server VTP version 2 VTP domain Octa. VLAN 30 and VLAN 40. But we'll keep them separate only. So DMZ switch will have VLAN 30 name CTX1 DMZ 40 CTX2 DMZ. So VLAN. Okay. Ah, both the servers are connected with this. If you want to know, 0 by 2 and 0 by 3. I don't know what happened to 0 by 3. 5 and 6. 3 and 4 also. So 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. Context 1 server E0 by 0. IP address 10.1.30.10. VLAN 30. IP default gateway 10.1.30.1. Host name CTX2 server. Interface E0 by 0 IP address 10.1.40.10. 10.1.40.10 check it. Show CDP neighbor. Show CDP. Here both the servers are registered with this server. This is 2 and 3. Host name CTX2. LAN PC. CTX2 LAN PC. Host name CTX1 LAN PC. Interface P0 by 1. 192.168.10.10. No shut. One 168 dot. Context to LAN PC is connected on E0 by 0. 192.168.20.10 255.255.255.0. No shut. IP default gateway 192.168.20 dot. While configuring, you have to be very careful. Otherwise, you'll go in loop. 10.10, 20.10, default gateway 20.1, default gateway 10.1, config T, no IP routing. So IP route, okay. So IP route, show IP INT brief, show IP INT brief, show run, no IP routing, same. So our LAN PCs are ready, our servers are ready, R1 is already ready. You need to give the routes. You need to say IP route 10 dot 192.168.10.0 Next stop is 20. 30.0, 40 dot, four different subnets are there, four different VLANs are there. Ping, 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 ping. Oh, mode. Program. Let's start configuring ASA. ASA1 MAC address auto interface E0 no shut interface E1 so you see 0 1 2 6 and 7 are no shut. Now interface E 1.10 VLAN 10 description. What is the description of that? CTX1 LAN. Already I have given this. Ten, 20, 30, 40. Context CTX1 allocate interface E0 E1.10 E2.30 config URL disk0 what's the name CTX1.cfg context CTX2 allocate interface E0 20 40 show context. Change to context CTX1 show run. Now pay attention interface E0. Just give me 5 minutes break before configuring this. I'm coming. Hello once again all of you, let's start. Interface E0 IP address. Who left? Only 4 are left. What happened? 255.255.255.0 standby 20.1.2 standby of same context, huh? Same context. CTX1 का standby IP is 21.1.2. Let's see where it is conflicting. Show run. One minute. Let it restart. Because when we did last time, let's see. Let it reboot. Change to system. Show flash. Delete flash. Delete flash. Show mode. Show run. Okay. Change to contacts. Interface E0. IP address 20.1.1. 255.255.255.0. Standby 20.1.1.2. It's not taking. So we'll make it 1 and say what we'll do. We'll make it 10. Show run. Show IP INT. Brief. What is net? Where is net? Okay, we'll do one thing. We'll take something else. Say 30.1.1.1, 255.255.255.0. Standby 30.1.1.2. No shut. Name if outside. Interface E1.10. IP address 192.168.10.1. 255.255.255.0. Standby 192.168.10.2. Name if inside. Interface E2.30. IP address 10.1.30.10 25.25.25.0 standby 10.1.30.11 10 sorry 30.1 and 30.2. Name if security level 50. So run. So we did provision for standby. Only we change the outside address. So we'll do one thing. We'll go here and change the outside address also. Interface E0 by 0. Sometime happens. It get conflict with the other configuration. We did it. We need to remove the routes also. Thirty dot one dot one. Show route outside 00 30.1.5. 5 is R1. Big name. Show route. Change to context CTX2. Interface E0 IP address 30.1.3 standby 30.1.1.4 no shut name if outside. I hope you understood what I did. E1.20 192.168.20.1 255.255.255.0 sorry standby 192.168.20.2 no shut name if inside. Interface E2.40 IP address 10.1.40.1 25.25.25.0 standby 10.1.40.2 no shut name if DMZ security level 50. So route 30.1.5 route outside 0030.1.5 ping 3. 3 is context 2. WR. Ah, show route. Perfect. Change to system. WR mem all. So run. SA2 interface E6 no shut, E7 no shut. That's all. No need to do no shut to other interface. Only E6 and E7. Others will get automatically no shut. Now, what is the failover? Failover LAN unit primary, failover LAN interface, same command. What is the command you are going to give for the interface? Anything you can give. So now we don't have this, huh? We have this as 30 and 30.3. Okay. 30.1, 30.2, 30.3, 30.4, and this is 30.5. Ten dot one, 10.2. Show flash. Saved. Failover command 1 and 2. Interfaces E6. Fail, sorry, yeah. Failover LAN unit primary. You have to do this in system. I think I used it in this thing, allocate admin. That is why it is giving problem. Should remove this. I doubt it. So it is the failover interface. So you have to primary then the IP address. Then the command is what? Failover. Failover LAN unit. Okay. Now this is the thing you have to do it on primary firewall. What is that? You need to create two groups, primary and secondary. Context 1 will be joining group 1 and context 2 will be joining group 2.
Munawar, please remind me on that config of the failover interface IP FO1.1.1. Which IP address is it? Which that 1.1.1? Where does it belong to? And that
See,
1.1.1.2.
yeah, let me explain you. This is your CTX1, ASA1. This is your ASA2, CTX1, CTX2, CTX2. I told you created one link which is E6. What is the name of this link? Failover link. If you have connected two boxes, these are two boxes, ASA1 and ASA2 are two boxes, physical boxes. These are virtual firewalls context. So there is a physical link between these two boxes who is going to act as a failover link. Failover link. Now this link should have some IP address because this is a physical interface connected between two boxes. See, E6, E6. Got it? So what is the IP address? You can take anything. So what I did, I took 1 and 2. Clear? It can be any private IP address. I just took 111. If you remember last lecture, I took 10.2.2. something and 10.3.3. something, right? You can take anything, 10.2.2 or 10.3.3. It is a formality. Like this interface will come up only when you give IP address to this guy. Clear?
Oh, okay. Thank you. Clear.
So as I said, we are having an interface. So we need to do what? We need to say failover group 1, failover group 2, or first you have to create, okay, context CTX1. So I'm going to create failover group 1. Okay. I by mistake did failover first. So I said failover group 1, failover group 1. Okay. And this group 1 is what? Primary. Failover group 2 and this group is what? Secondary. So failover group 1 is primary and failover group 2 is what? Secondary. I told you now, we want both the boxes to work. We want ASA1 also should work and we want ASA2 also should work. So what we did, we made two contexts. So for context 1, this guy is primary, and for context 2, this guy is what? Primary. So this fellow is taking all the traffic of context 1 without any problem. this guy is taking all the traffic of context 2 without any problem. So context 1 is also enjoying ASA1, context 2 is enjoying ASA2. Done. But what happens if this box fails? Context 1 box fails, context 1 will fail. Na? So for context 1, this guy is acting like a standby, ASA2. And for context 2, this guy is acting like a standby. So what happens if box 2 fails? Context 1 is already having its primary box available. At the same time, context 2 will also become what? Primary. So if box 2 fails, ASA1 will serve both context 1 and context 2. If box 2 fails, ASA2 will serve both context 1 and context 2. So context 1 will never come to know from where he is going. Context 2 will never come to know. Both the ASA will work simultaneously for individual contexts. Individual context means now we created 2 contexts. I can create 20 also. So I can divide. It depends on the command. Suppose I am having 15 contexts. 15. Huh? So I will say, boss, context 1, you join group 1. Then I will say context 1, context 2, you also join group 1, man. Then I will say context 3, you also join group 1. Like that. So context 1, context 2, context 3, context 4, context 5, up to 10 contexts will join group number 1. Then context 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 will join group number 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 will join group number 1. 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10 will join group number 2. It is not necessary you should divide them equally. It can be odd even number, whatever you want. At present we have only 2 contexts. So we said, boss, context 1, you go and join group 1. Context 2, you go and join group 2. Let's do that. We made group 1 primary. See, I did primary, but it is not showing because group 1, this fellow is primary, no? So it is understood. But for group 2, it is showing. Now I'll go to context CTX1 and say join group. How many group I have created? 2. You'll always have 2 groups. Context 2, you go and join what? 2. So show run. See. Failover LAN unit primary. Which interface is acting as a failover link between these 2? E6. What is the IP address of this E6? 111. Standby is 1.2. See, I said context 1, you are now member of group 1. Context 2, you are now member. So all the traffic of context 1 will always go from group 1. And group 1, unit 1, that is ASA1 is primary. So they will always take care of context 1. Context 2 will be taken care by group 2. Group 2, secondary firewall. That is ASA2. Okay, now you can say failover. Okay, now on ASA2 also you need to do something. What is that? You need to say failover unit, failover LAN unit secondary, failover LAN interface FO E6, failover interface IP FO 1.1.1, 255.255.255.0, standby 1.1.1.2, and then you have to say what? Failover. No group. Failover LAN unit secondary E6 IP and then failover. That's all. No need to create group. Let's see whether he found the mate. No active mate detected. Then finally, after some time when we configured, he saw, got it, sending it to the mate. He said I detected. Okay, let's see. Show failover. Now you pay attention here. This unit is secondary. Secondary and active state is standby for both the contexts. It should not be secondary for both the contexts. Failover. One more thing, always remember, by default, you have to, there is no monitoring interfaces. You have to say monitor CTX1. Change to context CTX1. You have to say monitor interface inside DMZ and outside. You have to forcefully do that. In normal this thing you don't have to do that. Change to context CTX2. You have to go here in both the contexts and you have to say inside, outside, change to system. Show failover. It should show this unit is primary and it is active for group 1 and standby for group 2. Let's see what is the issue. Active. Okay. See, this is standby for both the group. No, should be active for. So once again you have to say what? No failover. And you have to say what? Failover. Show run. Let me check the configuration. Failover LAN unit primary. Okay, IP address group 1, primary, secondary, join group. Okay. Here you have to give the command show run failover. Is a secondary unit. The rest is okay. Show failover. Show failover. Okay. Now one more thing. Change to context CTX1. Sorry. Change to system. Failover. Here you definitely need preemption. Now I told you last time also what is preemption. Preemption means, see now, according to the diagram, this fellow should be active ASA1 for this context and this fellow should be standby, that is ASA2 for this context. This fellow will be active for this context. This fellow will be standby for this context. So when this firewall goes down, this will become active for both the contexts. But when the firewall comes back, I want this fellow should become active once again. So here I need preemption. I don't want them to take it granted. So I need to give one more command called what? Preemption. By default, it is not there. So I need to give that command. I don't know where. I forgot that command. Preempt. Failover. Group 1. Active. See, for group 2 is active, for group 1 is standby, because we did some time difference. So till that time ASA1 became what? Active. So I forcefully made them active and so. Once again pay attention. Group 1, this fellow is active. For group 2, he is a standby. Okay. And he's telling my colleague, who is a second firewall, he is active for standby. Sorry, he is active for group. He is a standby for group 1, and he is active for group 2. He is also telling you ASA1, and ASA2 is telling what? Show failure. He is telling boss, I am secondary. Please note, I am secondary firewall, and I am for group 1. I am a standby firewall, and for group 2, don't forget I am an active one. Let's see what they are telling is true. And is telling my colleague who is a primary firewall, he is actually active for group 1, and he is standby for my group, that is group 2. Okay, both have considered their role. They have also given the addresses. You can see admin interface, outside interface. I told you, something happens that IP address was taken care by this 20 and 1. This will go after some time. Otherwise, our actual IP address is, for context 1 is 30, outside 10.1, 10.30.1, 30.1.1. See, because I told you 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4. Okay, same way 2 and 3. That is 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4, like that. 40.1. I told you we need to do preempt. By default, they are not going to preempt. Let's see if they are going to do preempt or not. Show failover state. This host primary group 1 active, for group 2 is a standby. Other fellow secondary is, for group 1 is active. Sorry, for group 1 is a standby, and for group 2 is an active. Okay, good. Show failover statistics. Failover. there is a command called preempt. Failover. No, you have to go to the group and you have to give the command preempt. So let me go here. But before doing preemption, we'll see normally what happens, and then we'll give the command preempt, and we'll see what happens when we give preempt. You can go here, and inside this you have a command called what? Preempt. Good. Okay, let's see. Change to context ctx1 shows CONN detail. Nothing is there. I create an access list out underscore in permit TCP anybody coming on host 10.1.30.10 equal to telnet echo access group out underscore in interface outside. Let's see. Change to context ctx1 show access list. Yes, present. Good. Now we will make an access list. Now we'll see first context one. Let's see context one. So for context one, don't forget, for context one, ASA1 is primary, that is active, and ASA2 is secondary. Both are having access list, huh? Because this fellow gave him access list. Context one. Okay, so immediately they sync. Okay, now we'll see. We'll go on R5. Telnet we have already enabled. Ping 30.1.1, very good. 30.1.2, 3. See, all the IPs are pinging off outside. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have given 4 IPs now. For context 1, 30.1.1 and standby is 2. For context 2, 30.1.1.3 and standby is 4. And 5 is R1 router. All are pinging by the branch PC. Now branch PC is doing telnet to 10.1.30.10. Show access list. Yes, there is a head count. This fellow might not be ready with his configuration. He's ready. Let's see. 10.1.30.1 he is going. 10.1.30.10 is pinging. What is the so good. CTX1 server is accessible. Show CONN detail. Can you see there is the positive connection from 172.16.10.2 for 10.1.1.30.10, but ASA2 when you go on the same context and say show connection detail, nothing is there because we are not doing stateful. Huh? So context 1 active is ASA1, so the connection is active with ASA2. Context 1 is not active, he is a standby. Okay, now we'll go and test another context. For remember, for another context, that is context 2, ASA2 is active. So don't go on ASA1 and do the policy. Otherwise, you say, boss, what are you doing? I am the boss. ASA2 is telling I am the boss. You do the policy on my context. That is my ASA. Okay. Out underscore in permit TCP any host 10.1.40.10 equal to 23 echo ICMP access group out underscore in interface outside WR. Let's see ASA1 change to contacts CTX 2 show access list. Yes, access list is there. So ASA2 should have that connection now. Let's see. Again, we need to do some activity. Ping 10.1.40.1 gateway should ping. Gateway is pinging. ASA2 should ping. This server 40.10 pinging. Once again, show access list, no hit. Oh, routing issue. What man? .1.1, 2, 3, 4. We added this later on, no? ASA2 connection is not coming. Route is there. Firewall can reach. Branch, yes. Can firewall ping his fellow? Yes. Check for the routes. Now see, the IP address for secondary firewall is not 2 or 1. I by mistake gave what 1. 10 it's okay 1. For 40 it should be 3. 1 and 2. Context 1. And 3 and 4. That's here also. For routing issue. I hope all of you understood what I did just now. This IP address is 30.1, 30.3. So when somebody is trying to visit 10, they should come to, when somebody is trying to visit 20, they should come to like that. This is standby IP, man. 2 and 4. Standby IP. So don't bring it here. Always bring it to 1 and 3. I will change the IP and send it to you. Don't worry. It's working fine. Shows you in detail. Can you see the connection is active only on CTX2 of ASA2. ASA1 don't carry this connection because he is not the active for context 2. He is a standby for context 2. Clear all of you? So they are working fine. If there is a connection from outside for this server who is serving this guy. If there is a request for this server who is serving ASA2, because in this case he is active, in this case he is active. So when you say show CONN detail, you will find for this server you will find here, for this server you will find here. If you bring it down, let's see. So what I do, I drop the connection of E0 by 0 on the switch. Config T interface E0 by 0 and shut. Let's go on ASA2, change to system. Show failover. Which interface I brought it down? E0 by 0. It's taking so long. All are monitoring interesting. Thing is gone. I don't know what happened. Failover interface is up. Five seconds and 25 seconds. Now he has become active for both the groups. Change to context CTX1. This fellow tried to do telnet. You can see so C1 in detail is active. Change to context CTX2. Again he is having active connection for this one. Change to system. So show failover. He is active for both the group. Fail. So in the next lecture tomorrow or day after tomorrow, we'll see other things also. Till that time, I'll find what was the issue in the switch. Normally, when we shut down this port, also it goes for failover. Anyway, I just switched off the box and it went for. So if I bring it up, I will send you the diagram what we did today by editing the IP addressing, failover configuration, basic configuration of the ASA and router and routing. Everything I will send it to you. Okay. Good night, all of you. If you have any doubt, just see the diagram. You can ask me in the next lecture. Good night, all of you. Bye.